Okay. Yes. Hello. Hello, bluebirds. I am live. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I am trying to figure all this out again for the first time. I haven't done a live in ages. So anyway, hello, blinging bluebirds. Chirp chirp. And I know that most of you here have never met me before, so I wanted to do a quick little who I am, and why I am the one talking to you today. So, first of all, my name is Ashley. I live actually in America over here. I live in right outside of St. Louis, Missouri. So, smack dab, just right in the middle of the country. So, I actually found the blinging bluebird when I had to stop making epoxy cups, and I was looking for rhinestones, and I had been just getting garbage ones other places, just kind of wherever I could get them really cheap just to start off with. And then I was looking on Facebook for rhinestone groups, and I found the blinging bluebird, and I went and checked her site, and I looked in the group and fell in love. So that's where I get all of my stones from now. So any stones that you see that I'm using here will be blinging bluebird stones. So after the video, if any of you want to ask me any questions on what stones are on anything that you see here that I've made, you can message me. I'm more than happy to let you know what stones I used. I am going to do my best to try to keep up with any kind of comments and questions as we're going. But I am famously not good at this. So my husband is actually helping me run the video and the audio. And so he is actually going to be helping me with the cameras and all of that. So I just don't know if I'm going to be able to see questions and comments as they're coming in, but I promise after the video, I will go back through and I will answer any and all questions that I see there. And then, of course, you can message me anything else. So I want to give just maybe another minute here while everyone's kind of filtering in. I'm just going to do a quick just kind of show and tell of what all of the supplies that you'll need. You need very, very, very few supplies for this, which is awesome. And you don't need any kind of special skills to do any of this. And it's really just a fun way to add just a little extra personal touch, a little more fun. And also, it gives your customers just that extra feeling of just putting in that extra special little bit more, just that little bit above and beyond. So, I just feel like these are a really fun way to do that. Having it on the cup, I think is really fun. I don't know. I love having little dangly things to play with like this. So maybe it's just a little kid in me, but I like it. And for me, it was really important that it be easy for them to change it out, take it off if they don't like that effect, and then still be able to use the same lid. Because as you can see, the way that I've done it, I mean, unless somebody were to point this out to you, you would never even know that's there. So everything was about trying to just give that extra pizzazz, extra little excitement for your customers or for, any gifts or just anybody who's using any of the cups you make. And, and then also just giving, leaving options open, So one of the things I like about this too is that you can make more of these keychains and then they can come back to you later and be like, oh, well, I like this keychain, but I would like to get a different one now. Do you make any others I could buy to switch out on my cups? So just options. I love options. So anyway, so that is, this is one that I've completed. So, and this is, of course, the lacing lattice pattern from our blinging bluebird. This is what made me fall in love with patterns. I was so intimidated to do any kind of anything other than just one honeycomb and maybe a couple different colors, but just all straight lines, no curves, no nothing. I was totally terrified of it, but I saw the patterns at Blinging Bluebird, and this was the first one that caught my eye of all the patterns. I wanted to try it so bad. It was the first pattern I ever tried. It took me a lot of courage to do it, but when Birdsong came out and when she released Birdsong, I knew immediately that it was time to do this pattern. So I picked Birdsong was the one that made me do it, and then I just got complimentary colors that went with Birdsong. So on this cup, I know I've had a lot of questions on the colors. Just real quickly, it is birdsong, and then we've got opal pink, opal green, and neon coral, and they just play together so beautifully. So, and it's another way these help bring out the colors in your cups too. So anything complimentary. And this will be another one that I'm working on today. Carrie Tristano, I have to give credit to for the design idea. She did one with birdsong and a pink one. And so this is kind of my reverse version of what she did, but the inspiration, all credit goes to Carrie. So, but again, blinging bluebirds, and we'll be I made a blinging bluebird matching rhinestone keychain to go with it, and we'll be attaching that to a lid. And then this is the Chill Out Charlie blinging bluebird custom mix that I got in a Bling It Forward. So this was my first Bling It Forward, was the Chill Out Charlie. So I made a keychain to go with just whatever blue cup I wind up making. I just wanted to use the mix, so I did, and I know I'll attach it to a cup soon. So good to have these on standby too. They're good to do when you're waiting in between big projects. Just throw together a really cool blinged out keychain. You're going to use it. It's so, I don't know. I get annoyed at myself and I have to do something else and then go back to things. Anyway, you don't need to hear about my neuroses. That'll become very clear here shortly. So let's look at something other than me. So I want to show you just real quick and easy what your tools are. Obviously, you need your tumbler lids, okay? These are just from 20-ounce skinny straights, which is what I work with because I am abhorrent at playing nicely with any kind of tapering. Yeah, just no. And then you'll just need, I use just one of these little hand screwdrivers. So it's really nice because the base twists, so I can just use that and then just turn and just hold it in place. So, and then you'll pick which bit you think is will work for you. I'm using, I don't know what size this is, but it is one of the medium thickness bits that I have on it. You'll need obviously your keychain bits. So I like these hooks because these make it easy for people to just take off and put back on and switch out their keychains if they want to. And then just your good old-fashioned regular keychain hardware. So this allows them to put on obviously whatever they want to use on their keychains. Just some good old-fashioned jump rings. We all love our good old-fashioned jump rings. And then just some simple pliers. So it's really not a complicated process. You don't need to have like really vigorous hand strength because I actually don't have very good hand strength. It's why I had to stop doing epoxy stuff. So so if I can do this and I can drill through these lids with this, I promise you can. So I have the strength of about a 6-week-old kitten most of the time. So if I can do it, have faith. I know you can. But if you had a Dremel that you wanted to use, if again, what you're just going to want is you're just going to want a good size medium base. Really, what you want it to, the size will help you pick the size. Is whatever size jump ring you're going to use. So you're going to want to make that width pretty similar. You're going to want your bit to be just a little bit bigger than your jump ring because you want your jump ring to be able to easily twist and turn and move around. So I would say that would help be the best guide for what size bit you want to use. It would depend on which jump ring. You're going to want to use a pretty sturdy jump ring because you'll have a lot of movement. So it'll be important that your jump ring, when you're moving your cup, and this is obviously going to have weight on it. So you don't want it to be a thin, weak jump ring that's going to pull apart. You don't want it to twist and turn and pinch and wind up breaking off the keychain. So definitely get some jump rings. They can be a good sturdy aluminum. You don't have to be getting like, precious metal, hard steel, hardened steel, just a good solid jump ring. And then just again, compare that with just the bit size of your little hand drill thing. So anyway, all of that boring stuff out of the way. Now let's get down to actually doing it. So one thing that I have found that you'll want to do first is definitely we don't want to damage the seal ring on the lids. That's a big no. So as you know, that just simply pops right off. And then I'll show you how to make sure that you're putting it back on right side up when we're ready to reassemble our lids. So I'll just set that aside. Now, one of the other things, here's how I line up. On these lids, almost every time, if you look, there's a seam. You can see the seam, how they put the two halves of the mold of this plastic together. So you'll see there's like a little micro seam that runs down here, okay? So it has a little bit of a lip that comes out a little wider on one side here. You can see how it's fatter over here. That's where we're going to attach. And also, I mean, you definitely don't want it to be around the front. You definitely want to do it on the opposite side of wherever you're going to be drinking from, because the last thing you want is somebody to have the keychain on here and then you go to take a drink and the keychain swings and bops them in the face. Nobody wants that. So also consider that when you're considering the length of whatever keychain you're going to be attaching here. Just give it a test and make sure that you're not about to like whack somebody in the eye when their keychain slides when they take a drink. So if I look here and coming from the underneath, there's that little nub there, and then there's that seam. So I will actually line up my screwdriver on that. Another thing I do, you'll want to get it, don't get it super close to the lid here, but you do want to get it as far away from this edge here. The inside edge here, you're going to want to drill the hole as far away as you safely can from there, because we don't want the jump ring here to make it where the lid can't seal back down all the way on the cup. We don't want it to argue with the rim of the cup or be knocking stones off or any of that arguing. We want to make it as safe for the rest of the cup as possible. But we need to maintain integrity. You don't want to drill this here and then have it too close to the edge and then it just cracks this little piece here and then this lid's done. So then simply what you would do is I line it up. I use that line there to center myself. So you can see I've got lined up with that seam. I hope you can tell. It's a little difficult. But then, so just gently start to turn. Okay. And I usually will give it a couple turns. This is my cat, Harry. Say hi, Harry. Meow, meow. This is Harry. I'm a Harry Potter fanatic. And so we had a litter of kittens, and this is Harry. And he is a little bit obsessed with me. Harry is my guy. We put him upstairs, but he was meowing his face off at the door. And our youngest son let him in because that's usually the protocol. He did not know we were videotaping, so you may have a couple Harry cameos and a couple meow meows. So anyway, back to this. So you can see here there's that little dot right there. Okay, you can see where I started drilling. So you see how that lines up with that seam. Now, I stopped on purpose, and I do that every time because I want to make sure where I've started is where I want it, okay? So I like where it's at. So I'm just going to line back up. And again, you don't have to lift it back off, especially this bottom spins. So you literally just anchor it on your hand and just spin. Now, one trick I will tell you is you'll start to see some shavings coming out. See those shavings starting to appear? So here's what I do. When I start to see shavings, I literally will gently pull it away. I try to keep the shavings on my screwdriver. Okay? And you just knock them right down. Get off. All right. Then you just line back up. And again, and you don't need a lot of pressure at all. I mean, really, the amount of pressure I'm only using is really just to maintain it just standing there. I mean, it's the palm of my hand. So it's very little pressure. It's really just maintaining, keeping it steady. And then just twist. So I've got a little bit more shavings there. So knock those off. There we go. And so hope everybody is having a good week so far. I don't know what the weather is like for most of you or even up in Canada. I think I saw Meg's had some pictures of some snow. Over here down in St. Louis, it has been in the 80s. But St. Louis weather is famous for being unpredictable, for not playing by the rules of the seasons, or it doesn't even respect the temperatures in a single day. The saying around here is if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes and it'll change. And, well, it's kind of true. So, again, we're just getting just little bits at a time. You just get it deeper and deeper. And another really good thing about cleaning out your screwdriver and every time you get shavings, really knocking them out of there, is that you will get a much cleaner drill. So your hole that you're drilling through here will be a lot cleaner because you're not pushing all those shavings in as you're drilling. So I've just noticed it gives me a much cleaner drilled hole. So, oh, I can see some of y'all. Okay, hello. Hello, Colette. Hello, Megs. Harry says hi. He is a little bit of a silly kitty. I do love my kitty, though. All right. All right. So we're getting close. So close. And I have had this little hand drill for longer than I can remember. All right. So we are now breaking through to the other side. So you can see here that I am breaking through to the other side. So here we go. Now this part, okay, once I puncture through there, so you can see, once I puncture through, you're going to be very gentle. What I will do is I will make it go through once, clean it out, make sure it's nice and cleaned up there, and then just very gently work your way back and forth. Okay. Now once you feel like it's sliding pretty good, get it cleaned up, and then I will come in from the top, because you can see there's still just a little bit of wonkiness there. So we will come in from the other end now to clean that completely up. So now, nice and gentle. Don't shove, don't push, don't force. We like to encourage. And see, now I'm twisting it both ways inside there. See, what you want to get is you want to get it to where it's this ease of the screwdriver going through, where it is literally just sliding both ways. That is what you want to go for. This means that we've got a nice clean drilled hole. So once you get that, I am done with that now. Look at that. We got our nice drilled hole. So see, that's nice and clean. And the other thing I do want to warn you about when drilling like this, do not let this touch like that because when you are drilling, you will scratch this up and you will mess up the seal of your cup. So definitely keep it where, see how it doesn't touch down here at all? That's another thing you want to be aware of. So we have this one ready to go. So I'm going to clean out, make sure I don't have any shavings in the track. All right. Clean up all my little crumsy crumbs. I usually do most of my crafting laying, sitting up in my bed. I can't tell you how uncomfortable these blasted little shavings are to roll over on in the middle of the night, and you find one of those things that they look harmless, but man, you find those rolling over around them in the middle of the night, and it feels like you are rolling around on broken glass. It is fantastic. So definitely be aware of your shavings. Respect the shavings. So at this point now, what we are going to do, we're going to go ahead and attach our jump ring. So I don't know if you can see about the size I have here. So this, let me get this out of the way. All right. Then I work with just 2 sets of needle nose pliers. I actually have my my needle nose pliers here. No, my needle nose pliers here, and then I have my my flat nose pliers. I like using both because I just like having the width difference between the two to really work with and wiggle around on what I'm working with. I used to make jewelry, so I have a lot of old tools from doing that. Very versatile. I'm so glad I kept them. So we're just going to want to open up our jump rings. Any of you who have not worked with jump rings before, I will show you the yeses and the no-nos of working with jump rings real quick. This, yes. Jump ring, first of all, what is a jump ring? I'm glad you asked. Respect the shavings. See, Colette gives it. Respect the shavings. If you don't, they will not respect you back. In fact, they will instill fear and regret. So jump rings are simply these little metal rings, and you'll see that they have a break in it. Okay, so they're not solidly like soldered around. They have a break, and that's because these are meant to be used for attaching things. These are also, these are used to attach things to dangle or to just attach. I don't know why I'm making this more complicated than it needs to be. They're used to attach things. End of story. So you want to get jump rings here. Now, jump rings, you open them by taking 2 pliers and twisting them away from each other. You do not ever, ever, under any circumstances, open jump rings like this. No, 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 no. You will destroy the circle shape of it. Lining it back up is very difficult. You won't get it to close back cleanly. Just, no, naughty, bad. Don't do it. So, now that we all know our good jump ring etiquette, you will open up your jump ring. You're going to want to open it pretty wide. You don't want to overdo it because you definitely don't want to over manipulate and weaken the metal at the joint. So that can happen with jump rings. Ask me how I know. Regret. And then we will simply just loop that through the hole we just made on our lid. Okay. Then just turn it around. Grab this. And then we will twist it back and close it right up. See how that? Nice clean close. Ba-bam! And there you have attached your jump ring. And this is really just this little process right here. This is what makes everything with these lids possible. So, I mean, this is all you need to be able to do. So let's put it back together. We need to get our seal ring back on there. Now, if you look at these, there are a way to put these on upside down and upside down. Hello, Shirley. I'm so glad you made it. And there is a wider side. This is wider on this side. And there's a thinner side. You need to put the wider side up towards the top. Okay? So, find the wider end. And we're just going to line it back up into that track. The lid has you'll see it has a track there that you just lay this back in. So we're going to lay that back in. And I'm going to go around and make sure it's just fit in there nice and cleanly back in the track. Yes, we are all in our happy place. And then all you do, here is how you attach right here. So there you go. And it's just that simple. And I like using these because it can swivel. So, you know, it can turn any way it needs to turn for the keyring to be forwards or backwards. Oh, hi, Tanny. I'm so glad that you were able to make it. Hello, Kim. Hello, everybody. I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad you guys made it. And you guys will be able to go watch and go back and see the replay of this. It's very, very simple. I am a very silly little sponge, and if I can do this and figure it out, I know that you guys can. So, but it's very simple. So then all I would do here, let's go ahead and finish this one up for my Sweet and Sassy cup. I wanted to show you guys the whole process of putting it together. That's the naughty jump ring. We just opened the bad way, so I'm not going to use that one. It got its feelings all hurt, and I was the one to blame. I take full responsibility. So we're going to open up another jump ring again, twist the ends open. Now, I didn't rhinestone right here at the top by the openings because when the jump ring is flouncing around in there, I didn't want it knocking off the stones right around that opening at the top. So both on this one and both on the Chill Out Charlie, I do not rhinestone at the top of the opening of my keychains because the jump ring, I feel, will just scratch it up. I don't think it'll knock it off. That liquid fusion stuff is, you're there for life. But I do feel like it would scratch them up and hurt their feelings. And these stones are so sweet to us. We cannot hurt their feelings. Refuse to be responsible for that. So we just put our jump ring through our keychain blank there, which is not blank anymore. So I don't know why I said that. And then you just attach the chain part. Oh, I'm good with camera angles. Look at me go. So, yeah, this is mirrored from what I'm looking at, from what I'm doing. And And I'm dyslexic, so you can imagine how this is going. So then it's my husband you hear laughing over there because he's my cameraman. And he has had to live with me. All directions in our world exist as, honey, which way do I turn? And I say, you turn it that way, or you turn it that way, or you're going to make it that way. There is no such thing as verbal only directions from me because you will be in a field cursing you ever met me. Shirley, yes, I bling the acrylic blanks. Thank you, Tanny. I need the encouragement. I'm a bit of a goof nut. So, but Shirley, yes, I do bling acrylic circle blanks. Just definitely make sure you sand the surface. I use the liquid fusion on it. Just give the surface. You don't have to, sand its little will to live away, but just give it a good sanding, and then just some liquid fusion, blinged on, bling bling bling. So now I've got this connected here, and I can just go ahead and, as a keychain, attach it on here. Let's see here. We're all goof nuts. Then I'm in good company. Hooray! Chirp, chirp. So now I have a finished lid. So, and then obviously you make the keychains your style. Make them you. Make them you. Make them you. So here we go. You give directions the same way. 50-50 chance I say the wrong way. Oh, Tanny, and I will defend that I am right. And it could be a brick wall, literally 6 inches away from where I'm telling us to go. And I will be insisting I'm giving you the correct directions, and you just don't know how to listen. Oh, oops. So I'm glad to know I'm not alone. So, and then you'll see here, we'll attach. Lid goes right back on, and see how we've got still got a nice good close. So the lid is not sitting away from it. It is closed. And this little jump ring, look at that. It's not even touching my stones. And if it ever does, it is just the little slightest little gentle little whisper of a kiss. Nothing harmful. So, but there we go. So that is how we add our keychains. So I'm going to make you look at my silly mug again. So this is how, oh wow, I am just a crazy old hippie. Shirley, aren't we all just a crazy old hippie inside? I know I am. I'm 42 and I have just embraced the crazy. I can't be anything else. So this is what it will give you. So this is, you bling these up, you get your cup. It's a great way to incorporate your stones. And it's also a great way, people will take these and put these, Jahira made it! Yay! Hi, Jahira! Hola! Good to see you! Oh, pretty lady. The amazing Jahira has graced my life with her presence. Yay! Shirley. Oh, you're not older than dirt. I'd be happy if I make it to that point. Woohoo, girl. You are in the best time. I think that's the best time, personally. But this is just, it's a great way. Also, you take these keychains off and they can use them on their actual keychains. Gets people asking about the stones, gets more eyes on what you make, and then it turns more eyes to the blinging bluebird, and everybody wins, and we're all happy. Tweet, tweet. So, oh, snaps. Jahira with the snaps, girl. Oh, snap. Yes, no. Jahira and I, we love our snaps. We like showing our age, apparently. So, and then, here we go. So, are there any questions? Anything I can help you with? Concerns? Runaway screaming? I accept all responses at this point. I know that Megan has our regularly scheduled bling and chat. So I am not going to stay on here for very much longer because I want to give everybody a chance to go get dinner, go get, kids, family, go do your thing before we all settle down again to watch the Megs on how to prep a tumbler. So I am going to say farewell for now. If you have any questions, again, feel free to message me anytime. I will do my best to answer any and all questions anybody might have. Oh, Courtney, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you made it late. I believe there will be a replay that you can rewatch. So definitely go check out the replay and message me any questions you have. Yes, this will be a replay. So if you have any questions, feel free to message me, ask me. I am always available, so I am happy to answer any questions. Definitely check out the replay, and that'll be all for now. Chirp, chirp.